In this video, I'm going to talk about specifically arithmetic sequences and series. So the problems I'm going to look at in this video have a term being, or a constant being added each time to get the next term in a sequence. So let's look at this problem. It says write a formula for the general term of the arithmetic sequence. And you can see that this sequence is arithmetic because 2 plus 4 would give me 6, 6 plus 4 would give me 10, 10 plus 4 would give me 14, and 18 plus 4 would give me, 14 plus 4 would give me 18. So in order to get the next term from the previous term, what I would do is add 4. That tells me something important for this problem, and that is D, my common difference, is 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to write a rule. So I'm going to need to remember that to write a rule for an arithmetic sequence, I can use this formula that says a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. So let's write that down. I'm going to use this. A sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. Okay, so I want to write a rule for any general term. So n is going to be my variable. I'm going to have a sub n equals, okay, a sub 1. What is a sub 1? A sub 1 is the first term in my sequence. So for me, that's going to be 2. N is my variable, and d is my constant difference, or common difference. You'll hear both, which happens to be 4. Okay, so let's see what this all looks like. I get a sub n equals 2 plus 4n minus 4. Combine like terms. I get 4n minus 2. Let's check that. If I plug in 1, 4 times 1 is 4, 4 minus 2 is 2, and that's my first term. So looks like this will do it for us. So here's our rule. There we go. Let's look at another problem. Express the sum using summation notation. So I know summation notation has this sigma symbol, okay? And I start with 1. I'm going to have to figure out what I go up to. So I'm going to leave this number that I go up to for a second. And then here I need a rule. So let's use what we just talked about in the last problem to write a rule for this particular series. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to think about, okay, what is my common difference? Looks like plus 2, plus 2, plus 2. All right, so D is going to be, let's do some side work here. D is going to be 2. I know that my rule is a sub n, or the formula for my rule is a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. Plugging in, I get my first term, which is 9. So I'm going to have 9 plus n minus 1 times my constant difference, which is 2. So I get 2n plus 7 as my rule. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2n plus 7 and I'm going to put it right here because this is the rule that's going to describe this series. Okay. Now the last thing I have to do is I have to figure out what this top number is going to be. So I know the last term in my series is 25. So what my strategy is going to be is I'm going to figure out what n is when I get I get 25. So I have this rule to help me figure out each term in the sequence. And I really want to find n because n is going to be what I put up here, okay, eventually. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 7. I get 2n equals 18. So n is 9. So what I have is when I write this series in summation notation, I get the sum of 2n plus 7 from n equals 1 to 9. Alright, last problem for this video. Use the formula for the first n terms of an arithmetic sequence to find the indicated sum. Well, I'm going to need something. I'm going to need a formula. So let's go see what that is. Okay, here's my formulas from my formula sheet, and I can see the sum of the first n terms. The formula I'm going to use is s sub n equals a sub 1 plus a sub n all over 2, times n. Okay? So, if we're going to write a formula for the first n terms of an arithmetic sequence, we probably need an arithmetic sequence. Doesn't that sound like a good idea? So here's our arithmetic sequence. We're going to be finding the sum of the first n terms of 5i plus 3 from I equals 1 to 38. Okay, so here we go. Let's see, what is n? Well, n is this guy right here, so I'm going to be plugging that in, I know that. A sub 1, I don't know, but I can find it. So let's see, a sub 1. A sub 1 is what I get when I plug 1 into my rule. So I'm going to take my rule, 5i plus 3, and I'm going to substitute I for 1. I get 8. So a sub 1 is going to be 8. And then a sub n is when I plug 38 into my rule. So I'm going to find a sub 38. And I'm going to get 5 times 38 plus 3. That gives me 193. Okay, so let's plug in. I get n, which is 38, times a sub 1, which is 8, plus a sub n, which is 193, all over 2. I get 3,914. So the sum of the first 38 terms in this sequence is going to be 3,914.